Hi, I'm Johnny Magic here at H-Line Conversions, world headquarters, of course, for diesel conversions and pretty much anything Hummer. Today we're going to be doing phase 3 of the H-2 Hummer conversion. We've got a couple different vehicles we're going to be talking about. The first one actually, this is a 2003 H-2 Hummer, and here at H-Line they've decided to step up and go with the LMM motor. The problem with the LMM motor is kind of like a dog and a cat trying to communicate with each other. It just doesn't work. So we're going to take they're taking a special approach to doing this and kind of adding some of the old school charm that people love in hot rods, like mechanical gauges and mechanical shifting and stuff like that. So it's going to be pretty cool. And the LMM motor is a super efficient motor. And they're trying to push the envelope of efficiency and maximize fuel economy in all these applications. And of course the LMM comes standard with 390 horsepower, which with the programming is about 550 horse as a standard Greenline package. So what I'd like to do today is, of course, show you some of the modifications associated with doing an H-2 Hummer conversion. The first thing you're going to do that you saw in phase 1 was take the body off, and of course phase 2 talked about putting the motor in and stuff like that. Phase 3 is kind of the finale of doing it, and through the years, you know, they invented the first 03 H-2 Hummer conversion back in 03 in Las Vegas. So you know, back then they were doing it by dropping the tray. There was a lot of modifications associated with the front radiator support, but you know, they've gotten away from doing those kind of modifications to the vehicle. So it just makes it a lot easier for the end user to actually buy a kit or have us do the installation, or of course have H-Line do the installation, you know, in-house. But so what you have to do is first, there's a few small cuts. I mean, you have a Sawzall chop-off wheel, a grinder, a buddy with a grinder, or whatever. You can make a few cuts, and all that comes in the instructions. And it's just some minor surface cuts as far as the radiator support goes. There's no welding and none of that kind of stuff anymore. We've, you know, like I said, it's been changed. So there is a modification to the hood, and some people might think it's too much for them, but you know, any local body shop or buddy can, you know, make a few cuts on the hood to allow for the cooling stack. And here they really focus on trying to get the largest cooling possible in the vehicle, and also, most importantly, take the static air out from underneath the hood, because these engines are heat soak notorious and love to run hot. However, with this style of conversion that they do here, your temperature stays low. You know, you can go up a 6-degree grade at 80 miles an hour pulling 10,000 pounds and not watch the temperature gauge move like, you know, in a normal old school application or other applications out there. So the hood modification, of course, is going to allow fresh air into underneath the hood and get rid of some of that static heat or heat soak associated with, you know, these engines, you know, running down the highway or at a stoplight, you know, and stuff like that. So so a couple of the other additional modifications for this special hybrid is, of course, electrical. Normally it's a plug-and-play application. There's a few pin positions that you'll change, and everything, you know, life works well. But since we're using the LMM and 03, life doesn't work well at all. Normally when we use an LMM motor, we actually downgrade it back to the LBZ harness and all kind of computers and all that kind of stuff so it can communicate. But you know, we found out that the LMM actually is our poster child for efficiency and performance. So we want to use that, and even though it can't communicate, we're going to teach it how to do that. And you know, and like I said, you know, it won't have the factory IPC instrument panel. It'll have like live gauges and real cool stuff, you know, on a billet panel, and you know, that kind of thing. And of course, when I was talking about the hood modification, you know, you'll end up with a hood scoop on the vehicle, which allows for fresh air or hot air to actually escape. You know, if you think about it, you're running down the road, you know, of course this thing, the coefficient design is like a brick in the wind, and the frontal area is only like this big for the cooling, so it does get cooling in there, but it can't get out. So instead of like putting a hood scoop where it's open in the front, that would be actually the wrong way to do it. You know, we want to allow the airflow to go through the radiator, but it'll escape through the back side, you know, because there'll be a hood scoop here, and of course probably have H-line or something crazy or something cool or whatever, you know, as far as the scoop design itself. But most importantly, the function is to allow air to come in the radiator and then out of the hood instead of staying around the engine and creating a heat soak. Other than that, I mean, the vehicle's pretty much stock. You know, there's no body lift, no kind of a special suspension or nothing necessary for the, you know, to do the diesel conversion. It's a pretty straightforward project. We're going to actually take you out and show you one of our kind of the factory, not this is the hybrid, this is, but kind of like the factory version of the diesel conversion next.